Interstate 57. It's the longest interstate in Illinois and nearly an intrastate interstate. I-57 goes through the south side of Chicago. Used to have a lot of lovely bridges like this. I-57 spans the difference between Chicago and Sikeston, Missouri. It is the shortcut from Chicago to Memphis and kind of a large St. Louis bypass. You're watching Control City Freak. This is the YouTube channel where we talk about interstate highways and the places they are signed to go to. Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. All right, we're going to start by talking about Northbound 57. I-57 begins here in Sikeston, Missouri, at the intersection of I-55 and US 60, so we see it assigned North Chicago. This is the approach from US 60 with I-57 coming ahead and the exit being for I-55. And we do see as we approach the loop of this cloverleaf that we are assigned for North 57 and 55, with North 55 taking that loop. And right from the jump, Chicago is the bottom line on this sign. Chicago 395, Charleston, Missouri 10 miles away. We have run out of Missouri cities at this point, so we get Cairo, Illinois at 9, Chicago 381. And we cross the I-57 Mississippi River Bridge, the one that I totally forgot about when I was making the I-55 videos. Of course, I-57 crosses the Mississippi as well. And we get Welcome to Illinois, land of Lincoln. Exit 1 leads us to Cairo. It's a nice overhead sign, and we are on 5751 North Chicago. Chicago maintains its bottom line status, 371, still a long way to the city. Mount Vernon at 92 is our secondary control for the next 92 miles. Along the way, we do meet I-24. I-24 has its brief run in Illinois, and I-24 is signed for Nashville. Mount Vernon still ahead, 47. I do think that in this sign, they should probably replace either Marion or Mount Vernon with St. Louis, because 24 traffic is kind of more angled towards St. Louis. And we do get 57 North, 64 West, St. Louis, Chicago, with 64 East, Louisville. We get a lot of St. Louis exits on this road. We had 55, we get 64, and we're not done. So 64 West, St. Louis, 57 North, Chicago. Effingham is the next secondary control city, Chicago 277. Effingham, of course, where we meet I-70. And once again, we get 70 west to St. Louis. Lots of roads going to St. Louis from I-57. Why I say 57 is kind of a big St. Louis bypass. And 57 north, 70 east, Chicago, Indianapolis. And here we have 57 and 70 splitting. Next up, Champaign becomes our secondary control city. Probably the largest secondary control that we will meet along the route. In Champaign, we meet I-74 and I-72. I-72 ends just a mile and a half short of I-74. So I-74, interestingly, in Illinois, comes very close to two different interstates without touching them. 72, and we saw last week with I-39. Here is our cloverleaf for I-74. Illinois loves their cloverleafs. And now Kankakee is our new secondary control city, 73 miles, Chicago 129. Once we get past Kankakee, the secondary control city becomes Interstate 80 because there isn't really a secondary control city anymore. We're getting close to the Chicago metro area. Here's the interchange with I-80, signed for Iowa and Indiana, just as we saw with I-55 in a recent episode, 57 North Chicago. This is a new interchange, 57 North, and the Tri-State Tollway. We can now access northbound 294 from I-57. For many, many years, they crossed without connecting. And here we come further into the city. We got Halsted Street in 3 miles. Here is the bridge for 103rd Street. These are the new bridges in the south side of Chicago on I-57. They look nicer, I guess, because they're like newly painted and stuff. But I don't really like the new bridge styles so much as I like the old ones. Halsted Street, 1/2 mile. I gotta give it up here. This is a very important exit. This is the exit to my grandma's house. She is no longer with us, but I've been on this many, many a time. In fact, my first major road trip driving on my own ended right here at Halsted Street, or thereabouts. Here is the actual exit, and we get a sign for 94 for Chicago and Indiana in 3/4 of a mile. Here's the Halsted Street Bridge. Looks the same as the 103rd Street Bridge. And here, as I mentioned at the top of the episode, this is what all the bridges on I-57 used to look like. They weren't all as rusty as this one, but this old soldier seems to be the last one standing. I don't know why. The structure of these bridges, I just always thought was really cool. Maybe because when we were on these bridges, we knew we were close to Grandma's house. But yeah, I just like the look of these bridges when they're not so rusty. And I wish they would have replaced them to look the same way. Here we merge the Chicago Loop 94 and 94 Bishop Ford for Indiana. I love that they sign it as Chicago Loop instead of downtown or whatever, because that's what people say in Chicago, going to the Loop. Downtown is the Loop. I remember seeing this sign many a time with the split for 94 east or west. And finally, we get a nice 57 ends on either side of the freeway as we merge into 94 toward downtown. All right, let's talk about southbound I-57. So here we are looking at eastbound 94, which is really southbound 94. We get South Memphis 57 from quite a ways away, and we're getting a little closer to I-57. We get 94 East Bishop Ford Freeway, Indiana, 57 South Memphis. 57 is the only interstate highway in the Chicago area without a name. In theory is the west leg of the Dan Ryan, but nobody ever calls it that. It's just I-57. I suppose I-80 between the Tri-State and I-55 doesn't have a name either, other than I-80, but that's, further out than 57. And here we have these splits for 94 East or 57 South. It's kind of amazing to see Memphis up there here in the south side of Chicago. I know it's one of the most distant control cities, and it's a little weird. I mean, almost none of these cars are going to Memphis, but I kind of like it. They used to alternate between Memphis and Kankakee on these signs, and now they all say Memphis. Our first exit is for Halsted Street, and we also see Route 57 begins right there. Let's take one last look at the Parnell Avenue Bridge. Probably won't be there for long since all the other bridges have been replaced. And here is I-57 going over 294, the Tri-State. Looks like they are completing the interchange to have a lot more movements here instead of just the northbound to northbound, southbound to southbound. But as of now on southbound 57, you cannot get anywhere to 294. We meet I-80 again, 80 West Iowa, 80 East Indiana, South Memphis, left lanes. Going south though, we're not going to just look at the mileage signs. We're going to look at the interchanges and what they say, because it's a little different. As on I-55, in Illinois, at the interchanges, they all sign the secondary control cities. So we see here on US 30, we are at 57 South Kankakee. Once we are in Kankakee, we now get 57 South Champaign. Here we'll take a look at one mileage sign with Champaign 28, Memphis 439. And at that US 136 junction, we do see 57 North Kankakee, 57 South Champaign. Here we are in Champaign again. We get the rapid fire 2 different interstate junctions, both clover leaps with I-72 and I-74. And here we get 72 West for Decatur and Springfield, and the other direction going on University Avenue for the U of I. And now we get North Champaign, South Effingham. We meet I-70, so we get 70 East Indianapolis, 57 South, 70 West, Memphis, St. Louis, so the big cities up on that sign. But within Effingham, this is kind of weird. So 57 South, Mount Vernon, no surprise. 70 West, East St. Louis. Like I said in the 55 episode, absolutely ridiculous would be signed for East St. Louis and not just St. Louis, since it's 2 miles apart. East St. Louis has 20,000 people. Also, East St. Louis is East St. Louis. And 57 North Champaign, fine, but 70 East Terre Haute? Why is IDOT signing secondary cities in Indiana? Why not just give it 70 East Indianapolis instead of a smaller city in Indiana? This seems weird. I showed you the Giant Cross in Texas, and here is Illinois' answer. I think this one is slightly taller, either that or the Texas one is, I forget which. And here we have the split between 57 and 70. South of Effingham, we do get Effingham North as the control city and Mount Vernon for south, where we meet I-64 as the control city. And here we go into Mount Vernon, Illinois, 64 West St. Louis. Here's the main interchange in Mount Vernon with our duplexed interstates here. We get 57 North Effingham, 64 West East St. Louis again. And then again, they're doing these weird games. Instead of Louisville, we're signing Evansville, so we're signing smaller cities in Indiana. 57 South Cairo. Cairo is down to 2,000 people. I don't think anybody's wanting to go to Cairo these days. So kind of a weird choice there. Probably should just go ahead with Memphis. Where 64 and 57 split, we get a 224 Nashville sign, as I showed you in the I-24 video. And here they go. I do think it probably would be easier to put I-24's shield up there next to I-57, just to make it more clear. But we did have the sign before, so that helps. And now we get, again, Mount Vernon for north here and Cairo in the south direction. Once again, here's our split with I-57 and I-24. And this is the last mileage sign in Illinois. You can see the bridge right up ahead. So we are getting US 60, 10, Sikeston, 28, Memphis, 165. Perfectly done there, IDOT. And we cross the Mississippi River again on what I believe is called the I-57 Cairo Bridge. Welcome to Missouri. And now we get Charleston, Sikeston. MoDOT, why? We had 360 miles of Memphis signage through Illinois. Now you gotta stop 24 miles to go? That's so annoying. You couldn't have made a third line for Memphis here after 360 miles of continuous Memphis signage on all these signs. So disappointing. And it is the same kind of thing at the interchanges. We get Sikeston and Cairo are the cities that are signed. Makes a little more sense at the interchange, but on the mainline road, you gotta sign Memphis. 2 exits to go, so we get Junction Route B, Junction Route I-55. And of course, when we meet I-55, we do get 55 South Memphis. So just 23 miles of no Memphis signage after all that Memphis signage. Then we get it again. Missouri, you gotta ruin a good time. No good, no good. All right. Let's take a look at Todd's The Way It Should Be for I-57. I'm going to say Northbound, Chicago, 100%, no question there. Southbound, Memphis, although I would be also okay with Champaign/Memphis. That would work all right as well. All right, thank you so much for watching Control City Freak. I appreciate it. My name is Todd, and I will see you again soon. Please like, please subscribe. Until then, keep on trucking.